This is Small Business Big World, our weekly podcast prepared by the team at Paper Trails. Owning and running a small business is hard. Each week, we'll dive into the challenges, headaches, trends, fun, and excitement of running a small business. After all, small businesses are the heartbeat of America, and our team is here to keep them beating. Welcome to Small Business Big World, our weekly podcast talking about all of the misery of running a small business.
It's not so bad.
It's not so bad. Most days it's great. Actually, I went home Monday and I said, today was a good day.
Yeah.
Right? Like we had a lot of wins. We had a new employee start, worked out great, closed a big deal. You know, everyone was firing on all cylinders. I didn't have any grumpy employees. I didn't have grumpy clients. Monday was a good day.
And then you got that 9 p.m. phone call from a client, no?
No, not even. Not
Good,
even. It was
good,
great.
good.
It was great. See, so it's not always misery. Sometimes there's some good stuff with running a small business. And that's what we're here to talk about today is how to make your life a little easier in small business by using AI, artificial intelligence, right? That's today's topic.
Yep.
I've got John Portanova.
Happy
John
to be
is
back,
our
yeah.
marketing director here. He's coming back for the third time, I think, here with us. Welcome back. We've been employing some AI tools here at Paper Trails. We figured we'd share those with you just to give you an idea of how small businesses can use it, right? And go from there. But before we get into the meat and potatoes, I have to do my duty as host. John will yell at me if I don't. First, I want to thank everyone for listening. And remember, please like, share, rate, review, follow, subscribe, all of those fun things. Please help us rank a little better. Please help us grow the podcast for more listeners like you who are enjoying this. We are everywhere on social media that you would probably think about finding someone like us, right? We're on all the social platforms. We are on all of the podcast platforms. So check us out. Tell your friends, please. Thank you very much.
You didn't have to read that.
I did.
You got it memorized.
I'm getting pretty good at it.
Yeah.
We're 30-something episodes in, I think.
We're going through it.
We're doing pretty good. So if we talk about something today, you have a question about it, or any of our episodes, certainly feel free to email us, podcast@papertrails.com, and we will be happy to either get you an answer or get you in the right direction. So AI, John, I think a lot of folks, small businesses in particular, probably maybe a little scared about using AI, right? With the rise of the machines.
Like Terminator.
Hopefully we don't
taking us over in a couple of years.
But the good thing so far is that with the AI tools that are out there, you still have to have some human interaction, right? You can't just, there's not set it and forget it. It's pretty impressive what these things can do for us, but you still have to be controlling.
Right. And it's funny that just real quick, it's funny that you said that people are scared of it. We were at a conference a couple months ago and there was a presentation on AI and, it started off by showing us a TV and people were scared when the TV came out. A radio, people were scared when the radio came out. The internet, when the internet came out, people, what's this going to do? So not that, AI might be a little bit scary in some of those things, but I think people are apprehensive at first when new technologies like this come out until they feel or learn how they can leverage it to help them out.
Well, one of the fears is that it's going to take jobs, right?
Right. Which, like you had talked about, right now we still need a human to kind of manipulate it. So at least for now, and I think going forward, it's not going to really replace jobs because we're going to still need that human to manipulate it. I think it's just going to help make people's jobs that much easier.
Well, more efficient, right? I mean, that's how we use it.
Yeah.
And not only that, as things have evolved, new careers have evolved with that, right? The requirement of managing these types of tools has been there, right? I mean, Christ, we had TV, but when there was first TV, now look at the industry that TV has created, right? The industry that radio has created, the industry that the internet has created, along with that, and there is industry following into the AI tools. Apple is putting AI in all of our phones. We've got all of the software tools that we use, our CRM, our graphic design software, everything is now incorporating some sort of AI in there, and that's kind of the times that it comes.
And not even the companies that exist today, but there's so many new companies coming out every day based on software that is AI run. I get it, sales emails every day saying, oh, use this software. We can help edit your video, make it sound better. We can help do your podcast. So there's new businesses coming out. So it's actually even potentially creating some businesses and some jobs.
Yeah, I think, certainly we've embraced it. And again, I come down to the efficiency piece of it, right? We're busy. We have a lot of clients. We have a lot of work to get done. We have a lot of goals to meet. And, I think this will be a good segue into, how do we use these tools? What are out there, in marketing, in your role largely, I know you're using these tools so that you don't have to work as hard, right? You can spend more time on the golf course.
It's hard to not work hard when you don't work hard. No, I didn't say that.
But
yeah,
what
100%.
what tools are you using? And how are you using them for marketing?
So, yeah, I mean, we're going to kind of focus a lot here on marketing, but AI is used across all facets of business. But in terms of marketing, the big one is just ChatGPT. What I would do is help.
And probably the most well known.
Yeah,
ChatGPT is probably
100%.
the most well known,
Yeah,
right?
100%. And I would say if you're a small business and you aren't using it today, it's what, $20 a month.
Well, there's a free version,
There's a free version,
which is a little bit more outdated, is my understanding. Maybe
Yep.
not quite as sophisticated.
Yeah, but even for the $20 a month is a pretty cheap price, I think, for the value you get out of it because it saves so much time. So if I'm looking to create 100 social media posts for all of our accounts, that would before AI that would generally take me hours to do. I got to create a Facebook post, an Instagram post, all that kind of thing. Now with AI, I can just say, hey, create me 100 Facebook posts based on payroll taxes or whatever the topic is. And within minutes, I have 100 posts. Now, yes, I do have to go back into each post and just quickly kind of scan it and making sure that it's speaking to our brand identity. It's speaking to, the customers we're looking to attract. If they put any statistics in there, then yeah, they're true statistics. We want to fact check that, but it's just saving me, like I said, it would take me hours. Now it only kind of takes me 1 hour. So saves
Same
so
thing
much
with
time. So
blog
much
posts, right?
100% blog posts.
Most of our blog, you're at least getting an outline for a blog post
Yep.
to help you kind of organize your thoughts, right?
What I can do is I can find some information on the internet. I can have it summarize that information for me, and then I can say, write me an outline for whatever the article is, and it'll provide me an outline. And then what I can go in and just fill in more information under each of those sections in the outline. Just generating ideas is huge. And if you're a hospitality business out there, I know my brother's a chef, and he'll use it to help him create some ideas for his menus. He says, I have steak, I have mushrooms, and I have, onions, and create me 10 recipes with these 3 ingredients. And it's
Other
just
than chicken marsala.
exactly right. Steak marsala, yeah, exactly. Those weren't great ingredient examples, but it just
Is that what you're having for dinner? Is that why you came up with
I don't
this?
know, but it's past lunchtime, so I am hungry. It just helps that idea generation. Again, it would take him hours to write 10 menu items, different menu items, and now it takes him minutes. So
Yeah, I think, the other thing with ChatGPT is it's you have to put a little more energy into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to say, act as a marketing director for a small business.
Correct.
Use this tone of voice. Think about these things. Include these things. Don't include these things. Your quote unquote prompt is what will drive what you get back, right? I mean,
Right.
it's kind of the garbage in, garbage out theory, right?
from a marketing standpoint, definitely prompts are huge. Yep. Act as a marketer for a small business. You might want to put in there what your ideal customer is, their pain points, how you want to speak to them, their tone, and then it'll generate you what it generates you. But then you've got to go back in again and manipulate, take out this, add this, be more educational, sound more human. So it's not taking away these jobs, at least right now, because there's someone behind the computer actually typing in these prompts.
So that's ChatGPT. We use it for a lot for generating job descriptions. We were updating our job descriptions. They said, hey, this is what kind of company we are. We need a job description to do this role. We had to take it. We had to manipulate it to our format and our culture and put in our benefits information and so forth. But I mean, well, I can't say that I did that. John did that last week. And I actually spent 3 hours writing half a dozen job descriptions.
And I spent 3 minutes writing a job description, and it was
and John said, "Well,
not quite as good, but
this is the one you asked me to do, ChatGPT, and I did it.
yeah,
in
ChatGPT is my new best friend.
right in 5 minutes, right?
Right.
No, so I mean, I think even on the operations side of things, right, we used the ChatGPT for things. I mean, again, job descriptions. Our HR consultant will use it to help her generate some policies and procedures and things like that.
Yeah.
For not only us, but also for our clients, right? It's a lot easier, at least to build the shell, and then you put the specifics in, right? I need to create a PTO policy for a company of this size in this state with these requirements and this and that, and come back and, it'll give you at least the framework for you to go in and customize from there. So,
100%. Yep.
so we use ChatGPT across the organization. I mean, write me a letter. I mean, for the podcast, when guests come on, I said, write me a letter to thank my guests for coming on.
Right.
A thank you email for coming on to the show. And it wrote that. It gave me what I needed. And I had to make a few tweaks and personalize it a little bit, but I didn't have to do anything.
Right. And if you're a service business, then you can use those email workflows. You could say, create me 10 emails that I'm, a drip campaign I'm going to be sending off one a week. And the good thing is, again, I keep saying the idea generation, but I think after 3 or 4 emails, you'd probably run out of things to write about, but ChatGPT is going to come in and use that human learning that it's learned in the past and give you a good idea for the next email to send in your drip marketing campaign.
So that's a lot of ChatGPT. What other tools are we using for? What are you using for AI? Right. We have one for the podcast that we use.
Yeah. So the one we use for the podcast is called Opus Clip. It helps turn these long podcasts into short form content, videos. All I literally have to do is upload the full file. Within 15 minutes, I think I have about 30 different short form videos. And again, just like ChatGPT, you have to kind of go in and maybe check the captions. They might be 99% accurate. You got to check.
But it clips the video.
Yeah.
It stacks them or edits them. Our videos have multiple angles, things like that.
Yep.
It goes and smushes them all together, makes it, look good.
And sometimes it might take a piece from 5 minutes in the podcast and a piece from 20 minutes in and smush them together, but it flows. They make it flow good, and it'll start the video with a good opening hook to get better engagement on the video. It's incredible.
Right. It knows
so powerful.
what people will engage with on social media and says these are the top 5 clips that we think that you should
Gives
post.
you a score and everything. The higher the score, the more excited you get.
Right. We get hashtags, we get descriptions,
Yeah.
And again, you still have to go manipulate some of that stuff, but
yep.
You have to go and make sure the captions are correct, make sure the hashtags are relevant or things that you want to be tagging into, all that kind of stuff.
So we use that one. We use Canva a lot for like ebooks or posters or flyers, those kind of things we put together. And they have an AI tool in there to help you create images. All you have to do is put a prompt in. Give me a stressed out small business owner behind a pile of paperwork behind their desk. Next thing you know, you have kind of a little cartoony image, or sometimes you can even get a pretty realistic looking image of that description that you can use across your website and your content.
But even in Canva, you uploaded some headshots that we did that my crappy headshots that I just took, here in the office. It went in and fixed the lighting and fixed, made sure you didn't
the
have
background,
the background,
and the red eye, and all that kind of thing.
Right, and you didn't. It was
you
done.
didn't have to do the little tabs up and down and all that. It does it for you in like
makes you look skinny.
30 seconds.
Gets the Ozempic filter.
Exactly. The Kardashians would love that one.
But again, rather than you going into Photoshop and spending 10 minutes truly manipulating a photo, it did it in 5 seconds.
Right, and if you don't have an expertise in a certain area, like I might not be the best photo editor out there, but the AI does a really good job and really quick.
Right. What else? What else you get going on for AI? Those are the big ones, right?
Those are the big ones I think that we use on a daily basis. But going back to our CRM HubSpot, they have AI in their tool, and if I need an email written, I can write, hey Chris, how's it going today? Did you read my article yet? Have you reviewed my article yet? And then I could just click expand, and AI could make that 2-sentence email, 300, 400 words if I wanted to. It can change the tone, make it sound more professional. So generally my content doesn't sound professional. They could make it sound that way, educational, funny, because I'm not funny, so it can help me with that. All those kind of things. It's powerful. So any software that we use today, I think across the board has some AI feature in there.
And it's more and more and more every day.
100%.
Even our payroll software is starting to introduce some AI, in creating.
You probably have more to say about that, but I know like they have it integrated in their predictive analytics. So you can predict out future things, all AI generated.
I was saying that's kind of one of the other operational things. We don't do this as much, but you can give AI tremendous amounts of data and say, this is what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for this outcome. And, I'm looking for this specific decision point, right? I want to know the average age of every employee that works for all of my clients or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Or average rate of pay or whatever. And I think it can take that and what would take a human a long time to aggregate that data and figure it out. Sure. It'll give you responses very quickly.
And accurate responses, right? For the most part.
Hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's where I was going next, actually.
Yeah.
So accurate for the most part, but we do...
In terms of the predicting, like the things you were saying in our iSolved.
Right.
Yeah.
So software. Certainly, one of the pitfalls I think that people worry about the most, or people have seen the most in AI stuff, is like they call it hallucinations. Mm-hmm. And I would say when it gets things wrong, it gets things like really wrong.
Yeah, it just goes for it.
You end up having like an extra appendage, or 6 toes, or if you're doing a video, a graphic one, you may say, show me the stressed out worker behind the desk.
Right.
For some reason, they may have 6 fingers. Something like that.
I don't know if it's been updated recently, but I know, a month or so ago, they always had trouble with fingers, hands. You get an extra hand, an extra finger somehow. So if you're doing, AI images, make sure you're checking it for accuracy.
Or it'll come back and say the Red Sox, their home stadium is Dodger Stadium or
Right.
whatever. It definitely has its hiccups. It's not perfect, right? So no matter what you are producing, if you're putting that out there, the
Fact
human
check. Yep.
interaction still needs to be there. The fact check still. You said if it's saying 97% of marketing directors are lazy, make sure you fact check that, right?
Right.
Put your bibliography in there.
Right. I'm in the 97%. No, it definitely fact check. I think it still owes me $1,000 on the 49ers winning the Super Bowl last year, and that didn't happen. So it's not 100% right, but it does a really good job. Just as long as you spend a few minutes to fact check it and manipulate it the way you want it to sound for your business.
The other thing that we use, things that we use ChatGPT for are generally not proprietary or private information, but there are a lot of ethical concerns about the data security of things that are going into these products. So we are not putting any client information in there, and even client names. Forget any of that kind of stuff. The things that we're using it for really are the things that are public facing anyway.
Right.
Our
Information.
marketing are things that aren't proprietary, aren't going to be out there. If someone gets a hold of them, it's not the end of the world.
Right. And it's information, that's already out there. We're just asking it to summarize it and provide it to us in a much faster time than we would go out there and find it.
Right.
Yeah. Nothing personal, nothing like that.
Right. No socials, no bank accounts.
Probably
no
not
pay rates,
asking for any legal advice either, things like that.
Right.
But
Same thing. And we actually, I was talking to our attorney and I said, well, gosh, your job just got really easy. It's like, oh, write me a mortgage for so-and-so, from this bank for this, for that. And he's like, well, it's still not that easy.
Right.
It's not good at some
Might
of that
be
stuff.
someday.
So it might be someday, but, paralegals jobs might be at risk, but who knows? But those are types that are real concerns as well is the sensitivity of data that you're pushing through there, especially if it's not your own proprietary AI technology.
Right.
If you're using one of these open source tools or something like that, you want to make sure you're not using that. And then it's the ethical piece. I think there's a lot of ethical questions and concerns about using these tools, whether it's job replacement or even the machine learning and how do we handle that and manage that and make sure that it isn't Terminator 2.0 or Terminator in real life, right? I think that's definitely a big concern that a lot of people have too.
yeah, absolutely. And, I think as, say, a consumer, if just be kind of aware that an answer or something that you could be reading might be AI generated too. So like it wouldn't be necessarily 100%. You got to trust it. You might still have to go fact check that yourself, even if someone's sending you this information or you're reading an article. And we fact check ours. So I want to say most of the AI generated stuff out there is accurate from what we put out there, but someone might not fact check their AI and just copy and paste it right on their website. So it might not be
Well,
accurate.
and there's the weaponization of AI, right? I mean, we know that, there are tools for, voice recognition and using that and creating, the election's coming up. Everyone's worried about election fraud using AI, right? Because the AI tools are really good. And, there's going to be some inflammatory comment that Joe Biden makes or that Donald Trump makes. And that could
that
be
they really didn't make.
that they
right?
really didn't make,
Right.
right? That was, literally created by Russia and thrown on Facebook and
100%.
becomes, we know that these things go viral real fast. So those are some of the ethical concerns, right? Using it for bad things.
Yeah, and this isn't really our realm, but I think eventually there needs to be some kind of, governmental oversight on it and some policies and procedures put in place to kind of make sure it's being used in an ethical way.
Absolutely. So, well, good. Well, that was a good, quick little overview of AI stuff.
I think
That's how we use things, and certainly, not that we're the model for anything, but I think it's nice to share how we use it in our small business and maybe potentially for other small
Yeah,
businesses.
I would definitely think all small businesses should use it in one way or another, whether they use it a lot or a little. They use it just for idea generation or to save time. Definitely just jump in and try it out. And I don't think it could do any harm if you're using it appropriately and still putting that human touch on it for sure. And I do think we'll, down the line, probably get into it a little bit more detail in other episodes, but that's just kind of a quick overview of how we use it in our small business.
Absolutely. So if people have questions about AI or how we're using it, how they get in touch with you?
Yep. So John at papertrails.com. That's JON at papertrails.com. Visit our website, Paper Trails, our social media. You can send us a message there. And then we have the email podcast at papertrails.com if you have any questions or thoughts or other comments about AI.
And you just did my outro for me.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do the social part, but
Like, follow, share, rate, review, subscribe.
there it is.
There it is.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of A Small Business, Big World. This podcast is a production of Paper Trails. We are a payroll and HR company based in Kennebunk, Maine, and we serve small and mid-sized businesses across New England and the country. If you found this podcast helpful, don't forget to follow us at Paper Trails Payroll across all social media platforms, and check us out at papertrails.com for more information. As a reminder, the views, opinions, and thoughts expressed are the hosts and guests alone. The material presented in this podcast is for general information purposes only and should not be considered legal or financial advice. By inviting this guest to our podcast, Paper Trails does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific individual, organization, product, or service.